Hello there, I'm Eugene and welcome to the next chapter of the Traveling Drummer's Diary series. This big chapter will cover my very first visit to Central and South America while performing with Vital Remains. It is a much bigger tour than the previous ones in Europe and obviously involves more traveling, so fasten your seatbelts and let's explore. We were supposed to play 12 shows in total. We started off with San Jose, Panama City, Paiste, then went to La Paz, Cochabamba, Santiago, Buenos Aires, Montevideo, and last 4 shows in Sao Paulo, Fortaleza, Belém, São Luís. It took me more than a 20+ hours flight, 3 flights together actually, to get to my first destination, Costa Rica. Welcome to Costa Rica. That's me sitting there. First of all, I have somehow deleted some footage of me traveling from Vienna to San Jose. You didn't actually miss anything important, so we will just continue from here on. I have arrived a couple of days before everyone else, so I had like 4 or 5 days off before the tour, which gave me time to adapt to the time zone change.
Tip number 25. If you're traveling to a place in a different time zone, try to start adapting gradually a few days before the actual trip.
Whenever I have a day off and get a nice hotel with a gym or something, I try to exercise a bit, which is a pretty rare opportunity on a tour. I want to take a few minutes off this video to talk about traveling with gear. Here's a picture of my cymbals. I'm showing you this because it was my very first flight with my drum gear and nothing got lost or damaged. I have heard a lot of nasty stories about gear being destroyed in the airports, and I believe the more I'll be flying in the future, the bigger the chance it's gonna happen eventually. I'll do a video on how to travel with drum gear, so make sure you check it out. The climate in Central and South America obviously differs in most regions from the European weather. The most noticeable factor is the humidity, which affects you in various ways. Since as a drummer I sweat a lot, clothes don't get dry as easy as at home, of course. I washed my t-shirt when I arrived just to see how long it takes for it to dry. This was a really good experiment, which brings us to...
Tip number 26. Playing in tropical countries will require you to take into account the humidity in order to avoid your clothes not getting dry fast enough after doing the laundry.
And as a way to partially solve this problem...
Tip number 27. It is recommendable to accept clothes as gifts from friends and fans on tour so you can have something nice and dry to wear.
Because of the humidity, wounds heal very slowly. I accidentally cut myself on the first day and the wound won't heal at all, which can be really dangerous.
Tip number 28. If you injure yourself in a very humid place, make sure you mend your wounds with double the care. Disinfect and cover it.
Since Vital Remains is based in the US, we don't get to practice together. We just go through the set a couple of times before the tour. The local promoter was kind enough to offer us a possibility to rehearse before the first show. But then a power outage occurred that affected not only San Jose or Costa Rica, but also Nicaragua, El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, and Mexico. It lasted only a couple of hours, so no big deal, right? Just a few countries without electricity. Anyway, the rehearsal still took place, but it was postponed, so we headed to a local music store for a signing session, which was insane. The longest signing session I had. Around 200+ people probably, lasted for a bit less than 90 minutes. It was more tiring than I thought it would be. The first show of the tour, we were opening for Lamb of God, so I was signing the posters right where Chris Adler was, you know, as co-workers of this so-called music business. The next day we headed to the venue to play the show. We had a huge bus taking us there. No need to say the welcome was as warm as during the signing session, even a bit too scary. We had a 2,500 people sold out show. The venue was great. What a great start of a tour, huh? There was some basic catering that we shared with Lamb of God. Nothing fancy though. Ooh. One of the best moments of this tour is the crowd teasing I did before the show. the show was such a success that the fans blocked the bus and literally wouldn't let us go. After the show, we still had one extra day before leaving to Panama, so we had some time for sightseeing. I like to try local food whenever it's possible, and the rice and beans has become one of my favorites. We headed to the Irazu volcano, which is the tallest one in the country, and it took us around 2 hours to get there. According to the divine internet knowledge, it has 2 craters. Next day, we were flying to Panama. It was one of the shortest flights we had, but this is where the real touring torture starts. For those of you who haven't toured South America, here's something that will probably shatter your dreams and illusions about touring that continent. 2 words: no sleep. This is how a daily schedule usually looks like on a tour in South America. 5 to 6 a.m. lobby call. At least 3 hours before your flight. Things can go wrong and then you're screwed if you miss your flight. 8 to 11 a.m. flight, 2-3 hours. 11 to noon, arrive to the next city, country. 1 p.m. hotel check-in. 2 to 3 p.m. lunch. 3 to 6 p.m. sound check. The venue might be on the other side of the globe. 6 to 8 p.m. back to the hotel for a quick 1-hour nap. 8 to 9 p.m. back to the venue for the show. 9 to 10 p.m. get dressed, warm up, line check. 10 to 11 p.m. gig. 11 to 1 a.m. change, cold pizza, pack the gear. 2 a.m. back at the hotel, 3 hours of sleep. Repeat. So you do this every day and hope to survive till day off. This schedule is not an exaggeration. I hope this example can open your eyes a bit and now you see how hard it is to actually do what we're doing.
Meet me at the casino floor. Nothing.
In a nutshell, the show was great. Some sexy and passionate pictures were made, some less sexy hookers at the hotel touched my shoulder, and then we had some rice and chicken at a place nearby. Pay attention to personal hygiene more than you usually do at home, just in case.
Tip number 29. Try to avoid drinking from cans, even if it's really metal to do it.
Not much to talk about here, so let's head next to Paiste, Colombia. We were fortunate enough to be accompanied by Jose, our faithful tour manager who saved our butts countless times. We had a layover in Bogota before we arrived to Paiste. When we did, the plane just landed in the mountains like if there was no airport at all. That was not far from the truth. It took us around 1 to 2 hours to get to the actual city through some really beautiful landscapes and bumpy roads. The hotel was located next to the police station. It was a small and modest one. At a certain point you stop caring when you're dead tired.
Та слухайте, як, на колумбійський перечен, ок.
The venue in Colombia looked like there was a wedding right before our gig. I used to dance when I was a kid and these decorations reminded me of my dark childhood. A nice friendly signing session after the show.
Hey!
Some unsuccessful flirting with pretty women in the cab.
¿Cómo está, señora?
Next day morning, we had some really nice breakfast. There were rumors about the city having a Stan Lee statue somewhere. We wanted to check it out before leaving for Bolivia. But apparently it was just an old man statue that somehow looked like Stan Lee and they used that rumor to attract tourists or something. On our way to the airport, we were advised to take a shortcut that actually took us even longer to get there.
Hey, whoa.
Whoa, this hall is dangerous.
Anyway, this episode ends here and I will be back with another one soon to continue my never-ending journey. Don't forget that the major part of this tour is still ahead of us. Thanks for watching, till next time. Eugene, out.
Are you still here? Make sure you check out these as well.